Comrades, attention, all members and guests who are veterans will give the hand salute, and all others place your right hand over your heart. Please join me in giving the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready? Two. Comrades, we will now be led in prayer by our chaplain.
We do not have a chaplain with us in the room. Let me see if we have a chaplain available online. We do not. I will go ahead and read the opening prayer. Let us pray. God, be merciful unto us and bless us. Cause your face to shine upon us, that your way may be known upon earth, and thy saving strength among all people. Let the people be glad and sing for joy, for you shall judge them righteously and govern the nations upon earth. Especially do we pray that we may have your guidance to the end that we may each of us firmly uphold the great principles of this organization. Amen.
Amen. I gave me the Holy Ghost. All right. Let's be seated. All right. As a reminder, we're here to address only matters specific to our organization. All discussion must be relevant to our mission statement, which I will now read. We are dedicated to a single purpose, empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. We accomplish this by ensuring that veterans and their family can access the full range of benefits available to them, fighting for the interests of American injured heroes on Capitol Hill, and educating the public about the great sacrifices and needs of veterans transitioning back to civilian life. This mission is carried forward by providing free professional assistance to veterans and their families in obtaining benefits and services earned through military service and provided by the Department of Veteran Affairs and other agencies of government, providing outreach concerning its program service to the American people generally and to disabled veterans and their families specifically, representing the interests of disabled veterans, their families, their widow spouses, and their orphans before Congress, the White House, and the judicial branch, as well as state and local government, extending DAV mission of hope into the community where these veterans and their family live throughout a network of state-level departments and local chapters, providing a structure through which disabled veterans can express their compassion for their fellow veterans through a variety of volunteer programs. I now declare this meeting, Fairfax, Virginia, what's today? Oh, October 16th. October 16th, sorry, apology. Open for transactions of such business as may rightfully come before it. My apologies. Command Adjutant, you will now call the rolls of officers, please.
Thank you, Comrade First Junior Vice Commander Chamala Capizzi. I will now begin with the roll call of officers. Commander Tom Wendell is excused. He's representing Chapter 10 at the Department of Virginia Fall Conference in Chesapeake. Senior Vice Commander Tanya Coper excused. She's also representing Chapter 10 at the Fall Conference. First Junior Vice Commander Chamala Capizzi.
Here.
Sorry. Second Junior Vice Commander Anna Lutz, excused. Treasurer Kathleen Schultz.
Here.
Immediate Past Commander Erwin Schultz.
Oh, yeah.
DEC Tom Wendell is excused. Alternate DEC Shane Learman, present. Officer of the Day Jim Anders. Sergeant at Arms Joe LaHaye, absent. Judge Advocate Erwin Schultz.
Here.
BPTL Jesse Bendahan is not in person or online. And Chapter Adjutant Shane Lehrman, present. Chapter Service Officers Chris Arrington, I believe, is online.
Here.
Thank you, Chris. and Monty Zimmerman and Frank Skaggs, I believe, are not present. And Assistant Adjutant Jeremy Yost.
Here.
Comrade First Senior Junior Vice Commander Capizzi, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
It's going to be a rough morning, I'm thinking.
I feel it too. All right, so let's introduce all Go ahead, I'm sorry,
All
my
right.
apologies.
No. So now we're going to introduce, instead of everybody introducing themselves, since we have members online and in the room, I'm going to read in the sign-in lead sheet for those who are in the room, and I will recognize those that have also joined us online. In the room that signed in, Kathleen Schultz, Erwin Schultz, Jeremy Yost, G.A. Redding, Jem Anders, Shamla Capizzi, Shane Learman. Those who have logged in online, Chris Arrington, Robert Wheely, D. Myers, and from the chapter unit auxiliary, B. Stevenson.
Awesome.
Is there anybody that's online I did not mention? There we have.
Yes, hi, I'm Robert. Thank you. I'm Robert Pearson. I'm a guest from chapter 48.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
Robert. Thank you for joining us this morning. I greatly appreciate it. How do you spell your last name?
Pearson. Robert, it's been several years since I've attended some of your chapters meetings, and thank you for inviting me. Should I go on mute?
Yep, you can go ahead and meet. Thank you for joining us this morning. We greatly appreciate it.
I wanted to say one thing. I wanted to recognize my friend Jim Anders out there. I'm glad to hear from him. I hope you're doing well, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert.
All right. Comrade Adjutant, will you read the minutes of the last meeting, please?
The September 18th meeting was recorded and posted to the chapter YouTube channel and was included in the recent newsletter sent out earlier this week. I move that they be accepted as recorded and posted for the minutes.
Immediate pass makes the motion. Sorry, seconds the motion, excuse me.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes.
There you have it.
There you have it. Ayes above the nose.
Hey!
The tradition will continue.
And she got through her first vote.
Yay.
All right.
All right, we'll now hear the treasurer's report, please.
And I have a couple of mistakes I'll be correcting. This is the finance report for the period of September 1st, September 30th, 2021. Our beginning balance was $14,605.68. We had no income. Disbursements was one check that was written during the last meeting. I'm missing the check number there. It is 4787. It's corrected on my printed copy. The voucher was for this year, and it was voucher number 5. The purpose was for the fall conference hospitality room, and the check was for $200, which leaves us with an ending balance of $14,405.68. And it does match the balanced TD Bank check.
Nice, I see.
And I make a motion that you accept my treasurer's report as given, subject to audit.
Jeremy Yost seconds that motion.
You have a motion. Do we have a second? Is that
We have a first, we have a second.
okay? First, and then we have a second. Any discussions? No. All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Noes? Any noes? Any opposed? No. Motion carries. All right. All right. Comrade Chaplain, are there any reports on sickness or distress?
As you know, we currently do not have a chaplain. Reverend Hoffman has been filling in meetings when he's able to. He is not in attendance today. I am not aware of many reports of sickness or distress except for our friend Jerry Nance. I know he was still struggling as of recently. I haven't had an update. Jerry first came to our meeting a few years ago. Reverend Hoffman brought him. He was a fellow officer and a Marine suffering from disabilities related to his exposure in Agent Orange. We were able to assist him. And I just want everybody to keep Jerry and his wife in your thoughts and prayers moving forward. Are there any other reports of sickness and distress? That concludes the report, Comrade First
Yeah.
Junior Vice Commander.
Okay. Thank you. It's fine. The adjutant will read the communications.
We didn't get a whole lot of communications this last time around since our last meeting. Actually, we didn't receive any mail at all. I take that back. We did receive a piece of mail I brought with me. I forgot to include it on the report this morning. However, from the membership department, we received a letter and a correspondence providing us the brand new DAV 2021-2022 daily planner.
Yeah, I'm using it right now.
If anybody would like said planner, as Comrade Adjutant will not be using it, I will leave it up here, and anybody who's in the room that doesn't already have one, you're more than welcome to have the planner. The next piece of correspondence, as you know, Chapter 10 has been using GoToMeeting online video conferencing and meeting for the last several years. It's how we host this meeting right now, how we're hosting our meetings, our commanders check-in and chat, as well as the other meetings we hold throughout the month for various information-related seminars and meetings. I was recently just received the invoice for the next annual year, and it's $348. And I would like to turn that over to the treasurer. But before I do we need to vote on that, correct?
I need to confirm it.
We need to confirm it again. Now, we did not consider another service this year prior to the bill coming due. So I guess my advice would be we stick with it for another year since we've already paid for the next year. I don't know if there's any other discussion on the matter.
Comrade, immediate task commander makes a motion required for this to keep our current service, do what needs to be done to keep it.
Do we have a
Same
second?
amount as last.
Yes, actually, it's been the same amount for 4 years now. They haven't changed
Oh, wow.
this annual amount at all.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep it, honestly, we've got a good system here with what we're working with. I don't see the need to change. You know, does it cost a little more? Possibly, but you know what? You gotta pay for quality and the way it works for everybody and the ease of getting on for like our executive meetings and stuff like that. My recommendation and motion is to keep it.
Just another part of that continuing conversation. We're actually recording our meetings through this too now, right? Since we're also broadcasting this meeting, we're recording it and using it for a minute. So
Yeah.
this program and service has actually become a very large part of our operations.
Then I make a motion to keep it. We can discuss later, you know, we'll do it at an EC meeting probably. making that a continuing resolution or something like that.
Or if we want to change, we can table that till next year,
Exactly,
August, before the next one is due.
exactly. There's so many ways we could do this, but let's keep it.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Jeremy Yost seconds that motion.
Okay, do we have any opposed? Oh, do we have any further conversation about this? Do we? All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Motion carries. Alrighty.
Sorry.
Okay. We'll now have the reports of committees and officers.
Thank you, Shamala. We would generally start off with the membership committee report, and that is our Senior Vice Commander, Tanya Colbert. She is not present. However, I do know that they're still having some issues with the membership system and still not able to run a report to find out exactly where we are at this point in time.
And we each got 2 of the magazines last month, which I believe is based on memberships.
That I'm not sure. So I don't believe there's anything else in reference to a membership report. Therefore, that concludes the membership report. Comrade Capizzi.
Oh, on women veterans, I have nothing to add. Oh, sorry. On women veterans, I have nothing to pass currently.
So that brings us to the service officers report. Chapter Service Officer Chris Arrington, do you have anything for us this morning?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Now I will turn it over to the DAV supervisor of the National Service Office in Washington, D.C. For any additional updates. Jeremy Yost, you want to come up here, sir?
Good afternoon, everybody. So there's 2 major things that's happened this month. The president signed on October 8th the new cost of living adjustment for veterans, and that is going to go to a 5.9%. That's the highest that we've had since 1983, and that will take into effect on December 2021, and will reflect on your January 2022 payment. The other bit of news is the 3 presumptive conditions due to burn pit exposure in Southwest Asia, Persian Gulf War, Afghanistan, Syria, Djibouti, and Uzbekistan on or after September 19, 2001 is asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis. I have nothing else. First Junior Vice Commander.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Actually, I do have something.
Just to follow up on what Jeremy was saying in reference to the 3 presumptives for particulate matter. I know it's often referred to as burn pits, being the legal nerd I am. I like to call it particulate matter because that's exactly what the regulation provides. Now, that means it's not specific just to burn pits, because particulate matter is other things than just burn pit exposure. It's a variety of different airborne hazards. So it's a different application in reference to burn pits. Just wanted to point that out, that it's just not burn pit exposure. And unfortunately, when VA released this under their rules, it was not based on law, based on Secretary's authority. They also are requiring proof of manifestation of those 3 diseases within 10 years of leaving the country of exposure, which means you're going to have to go back in your records and find symptoms of the condition within 10 years. Recently, DAV provided formal comments in the National Federal Register in reference to this final rule, and we disagreed with the 10-year limit. We argued to remove that because it's more of a hindrance for veterans trying to prove something they may or may not have records on 30 years ago, because this does go back and cover veterans of the First Persian Gulf War. And that is all we have for the service officers report. Did you have anything in reference to the Women Veterans Committee?
I do. I misspoke, but thank you. The DC will have Washington Veterans Day social and recognition ceremony. It will be Friday, October 22nd at the DC Public Library, the MLK Library, from 2 to 4. You can go on their website, to register for that, for women veterans. So that's one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll go into the benefit protection team. Our benefit protection team leader, Jesse Bendenhand's not with us this morning. So I will fill in for him, being the DAV Deputy National Legislative Director. I have an idea or two of what's going on in the world on Capitol Hill. Just to provide some information, there was a hearing last week, and there'll be 2 hearings this next week. Now, the hearing last week on October 13th was in the House Veterans Affairs Committee, Subcommittee on Health, and it was a hearing in reference to, I believe it was 13 to 15 different health care provisions. DAV Assistant Legislative Director Marquis Bearfield represented DAV and testified as a witness. His testimony is available on DAV's website, and I'll provide a link to that in the after action report. Coming up this week on October 20th, there'll be 2 hearings that DAV will be asked to be witnesses at to testify. And the first one is on October 20th at 10 a.m. It's in the House Veterans Affairs Committee, Subcommittee on Disability Assistance and Memorial Affairs, or the DAMA Subcommittee. DAV Assistant Legislative Director Jeremy Villanueva will be representing DAV, and one of the major pieces of legislation, I believe there's 12 that are going to be discussed at that hearing, is on survivors benefits, and Jeremy will be advocating for that. There are 2 bills that he will be testifying on. One is Caring for Survivors Act. It'll look to increase the DIC, dependent indemnity compensation amount that a survivor is entitled to, up to 55% of what 100% disability pays. Now, right now, it is only around 40%, so there's a big disparity there. Plus, survivors of federal employees get 55% of their salary. So what this will do, it'll finally increase the amount for DIC, which hasn't happened in almost 20 years, and it'll bring it along in parity with what survivors of federal employees receive. He will also be advocating for the survivors for ALS. For those of us who are familiar with DIC, there's something called the DIC kicker. If a veteran is 100% 8 years prior to their death, and the spouse gets DIC, they will get an additional amount. I believe it's around $288 a month, $300 a month, in that ballpark. And it's often referred to as the kicker. They get an additional amount on top of their DIC. What this second bill will do for ALS, as we know, it's a very progressive disease, and most veterans who get it, most people who get ALS, don't last 8 years. So what this bill would do, it would automatically provide the DIC kicker to the survivor of a veteran who dies due to service-connected ALS, regardless of how many years they were at 100%. He will be advocating for both of those, and then later that day at 3 p.m., Marquis Merrifield is getting a workout, 2 hearings, 2 weeks in a row. He's our Assistant Legislative Director. He'll be testifying again on additional health care bills in front of the Senate on next Wednesday at 3 p.m. And we'll put in links either in our follow-up after action, or if those links aren't available yet, we will post them to our Facebook page. And that concludes my ranting at this point. Comrade Capizzi.
Thank you, Adjutant. That was a good rant, actually.
You're welcome.
All right, do we have any unfinished business?
Matter of fact, we do, Comrade.
Awesome. All right, so the December, the commanders check-in and chat will be Sunday, October 17th, and Sunday, October 24th at 7 p.m. So please join us. And Friday's reminder on the chapter website and on our Facebook.
We just sent out a reminder this morning for the meeting, which also included a reminder for the check-in chat for tomorrow, and we're going to have it again on the 24th. Normally, we skip a week, but we're having them the next 2 weeks in a row because the 31st is Halloween, Jim, and I want to be dressed up and scaring kids, not talking to you online. I'm just saying.
Well, you really don't have to be dressed up.
You know?
For the trick or treaters.
All above.
All of the above. So the upcoming Commander's Check-in Chat will be this Sunday and next Sunday.
Awesome. All righty. Volunteers to claim the American Veteran Disabled Memorial will be Saturday, October 23rd. This will be our last cleanup of the year. So many of the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial at 7:30 a.m. and we'll need 10 to 15 volunteers. And we'll send out the reminder next week with address and will be found on our website and Facebook page. All right.
Officer training and orientation. We provided this a few months ago. We discussed DAV history as well as the March of the Bonus Army. I thought we recorded it, and notice the way I said I thought we did, because I can't find the recording anywhere, but we still do have the PDF and the of the PowerPoint that we provided, so I will at least get that up online. I will continue to see why I can't find the recording of that event, but the next one will be on October 27th. And for those who are interested, whether you're an officer and you want additional information on Chapter 10 orientation, or you're just a member who's curious, please join us. We're going to be talking about DAV structure from the chapter, department, NEC, and national levels. And we will also be discussing DAV's national programs, that just so that everybody is aware of all the different programs that DAV offers. This will be provided by Tom Wendell, Jeremy Yost, and Comrade Capizzi. That's right. Tune in. Shane won't be talking.
All righty. So the DAV 5K. Again, the DAV 5K will be held November 6th. It's a virtual 5K and we'll walk on the National Mall. Our team captain is Senior Vice Commander Tanya Colbert. And we have a total currently of six team members, and we currently have raised $290. If you would like to support or you would like to join the team, please, go on our DAV website.
Right, there's the link right there. We will have additional links on the website coming soon, but in the newsletter we released on Thursday, there is a small article and a link there if you want to sign up and be a member of our 5K team. Love to have you. You don't have to walk if you just want to join and raise money. That's awesome. Or if you just want to raise money and give it to Chapter 10. That is awesome too, because all of this money will go to the National DAV organization to fund not just programs nationwide, but some of those donations do come back to Virginia to take care of veterans in Virginia. So we will get more of that information out, but if you are interested, take a look at our previous newsletter we just sent out because that information is in there as well.
I will be signing up with my husband.
I signed up, but to be clear, for anybody who wants to come and join us at the 5K on November 6th, just to make sure I put this out there and everybody's clear, we will not be running the 5K. So don't go, oh, Shane, I can't run. Guess what? Most of us don't either. We're looking at this as more of a 5K mosey.
Yeah, like a tour, right?
Like a 5K amble.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to only run if someone's chasing us.
It's a nature walk.
Right.
It's a 5K nature walk.
There you go.
On the National Mall,
Yep.
seeing all the monuments and the history of Washington,
Oh, yeah.
D.C. So yeah, don't feel like you're going to get overexerted.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Maybe a light wind, but no, nothing crazy.
And make sure you bring plenty of water to keep hydrated.
Yep, because we are not going to fire carry you.
No.
No.
We're all old.
Awesome. All right.
That is the 5K team from last year. That's right. We only had 3 people on the AB's 5K team last year, Tom, Jeremy, and myself. I think that was really a weird angle because I look like the Jolly Green Giant in that picture right there.
Well, Jeremy's really not that tall. So.
I wasn't going to go there.
Okay.
So we only had 3 members last year, but we raised several thousands of dollars in a week's time. So please consider joining our 10. Help our Chapter 10 team help us raise awareness and support for disabled veterans and their families. At our August meeting, we tabled discussion on the holiday banquet for December. We tabled it until this meeting for discussion and to vote on whether we would have the event or cancel it. So back in August, we brought this up to start discussing. Since the increase of the COVID variant at that time, we didn't feel it would be good to make a decision at that time. So we tabled it to this meeting, and therefore we can open this up to all of the members in person today for discussion on whether we should have the holiday banquet the first Sunday in December or whether we should consider canceling it this year.
Make a motion to take it off the table and bring it up for discussion.
I second the motion.
Any opposed? Oh, any discussion? I'm sorry. I'm just like going straight to the right.
Those in favor?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
So it is off the table and open for discussion. My thoughts on this, honestly, Shane, I'm leaning toward not doing it again this year because of the panic. You know, people still kind of, I'm not going to say panicking, but there's still a lot of uncertainty as to what's going on as far as the effectiveness of the vaccines, whether or not the Delta variant is going to fade out like it's apparently starting to, whether anything else is going to go on. There's just too many uncertainties. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to come out. You know, and it's probably going to cost more for us to hold the banquet. You know, we won't know how many to have it catered for unless you want to send out to McDonald's. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to do it this year, Shane. So my thoughts on the issue, you know, open to discussion, but my thoughts would be to go ahead and cancel it for this year.
Thank you, Erwin. Just to bring up a few issues about costs and the number of people we've had in the past and what we're looking at, just to kind of put this in a little more context. Normally we have between 60 and 80 people at a banquet on a good year. Cost just for the banquet, usually between $2,000 and $2,500. That's just a banquet. That's not counting any of the additional desserts, giveaways, prizes, all of the additional things that we do. So we're probably looking at roughly $3,000 overall for the cost of the banquet. Now, to Erwin's point, if we only have 20 people show up, we're still on the hook for $3,000.
Yeah.
If we schedule it and go through with it and get canceled at the last minute, we're still on the hook for $3,000 because you can't expect the catering to prepare everything, let us cancel and not get reimbursed for it. So there are a lot of considerations because, to Erwin, I agree, we may not get a lot of people in attendance. So even if we had the people in this room with their significant others, that's still not 20 people. And we'd be spending $3,000. So I'm not sure, right? I mean, I can see us go both ways, but what I don't want to see us do is have an event and we're paying that much money for it and it's not getting us the biggest bang for our buck. Instead, I think that's money we could be spending on other programs. And we have another proposal.
Especially like the giving tree that Tom was talking about.
The homeless stand down.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And we have a few other ideas we're going to mention here in a minute under new business that would be additional ways for us to spend money and potentially even the money that would be earmarked for the holiday banquet. So I have no objection either way, but like Erwin, I'm pretty much leaning toward not having it just so we don't put up all of that money with very little attendance, because again, I'm not sure that the general population is going to be walking in our door to have a banquet, a buffet style banquet with 70 or 80 other people who you don't know are vaccinated or not, because that brings up another question.
Yeah.
We would have social distancing and masks and PPE and everything else. But again, I don't think we would be able to be in the position to demand vaccinations required or proof of vaccination. So I think this whole thing just puts us in a really weird, awkward situation. So,
Conrad, my motion would be then to cancel it and redirect the funds to other programs as we decide to help the veterans in our community over the Christmas and Thanksgiving holidays.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you yet.
You just tabled it.
Can we just take
No.
Can you do a motion?
We did not take it, no, we brought it off the table.
We brought it off the table. We voted to open it up for discussion. It's now being discussed. Immediate past Commander Schultz just made a motion that we cancel the holiday banquet. Everything is within Robert's Rules of Order. We are fine across the board. So we have a motion. Comrade.
That was part of the motion, Shane. The other part of the motion was to redirect the funds as required
As
for
needed.
these programs to help veterans in our community. I don't want it just to sit and think we're canceling it and just having it, throwing the money into the treasury and sitting on it. You know, we're not J. Paul Getty or something like that. I want this money to be redirected specifically to help veterans, needy veterans in our community like we did last year.
Well, we have an opportunity to do that here in a few minutes.
Okay, well, I want to earmark that, whatever we decide, the money we would use for that would go to help whatever we decide to do for the community for Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome.
So that is my motion, sir.
So now that everybody understands the motion, do we have a second?
Do we have a second?
Chairman, seconds. Oh, Chairman, seconds.
Do we have any opposed? Oh, any discussion? Oh, we have to do that again. Okay. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I don't,
Nobody voted no?
no, okay, no. Okay, motion carries.
On bringing up the ongoing saga of DAV and our storage unit at Fort Knox storage facilities, on November 1st, we will have to be required to renew for the upcoming year. However, as we have discussed at previous meetings, we're all not that sure we need A, that big of storage unit we're currently renting, or B, need it at all. A majority of the things in the storage unit need to be destroyed essentially because a lot of the products in there are no longer valid based on addresses and dates. So we'd have to destroy most of the pamphlets and brochures and forms that we have in there. So on October 23rd, next Saturday after the memorial cleaning, Commander Wendell and myself and several other members of Chapter 10, we will take a fun ride over to the Fort Knox storage facility. We will clean it out and get rid of everything that we can't keep and determine what we need to keep and if that requires a smaller storage space or no storage space. So next Saturday, we will be able to make the decision on whether we can cancel the storage going forward, because we may not have anything that needs to be stored going forward.
Right.
The only thing I can think of that's in there that you might want to be keeping are these banners, the ones that hold up.
Oh, marketing banners.
Right. There's a few banners and
But they're in cases like,
Yeah.
right, there are some things that we could keep that wouldn't take up much space. In other words, hardly worth renting a storage facility for. However, I believe there are some shower safety seats, a couple of those that have been donated, and a wheelchair that's been donated. So we would have to either one, find a new storage place for them, or two, my suggestion is in the next newsletter, we announce that we have those items, and whoever wants them, let us know, first come, first serve. They were donated for us for somebody to use it. They're not helping anybody sitting in the storage room. Because I think sometimes we forget what's in there. So we need to let people know we have those items. So if somebody needs them at no cost, they can have them. And we'll be doing that on next Saturday.
New business. Okay.
Items for homeless veterans, as many of you know, over the last few years, Chapter 10 has been a sponsor of the homeless veterans stand down called Winter Haven at the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center, held in January of every year. 2 years ago, we invited VA Voluntary Services here. We gave them all of the clothing donations that we collected at the holiday banquet and a check for over $1,000. Last year, there was no homeless veteran stand down due to COVID-19. This year, they've canceled the January homeless veteran stand down, and they're going to have a smaller stand down at some point in November. Now, since they haven't had these stand downs, they haven't been getting their usual amount of clothing donations or financial donations. So tomorrow, Chapter 10 will release a link to Amazon. And on that link will be items needed for the Washington, D.C. VA MC homeless veterans. So on there is everything from, and since it is October, we're trying to prepare for cold weather for the homeless veterans. There's going to be insulated and thermal undergarments for men and women on there, hats and gloves, as well as hygiene products, other things that we received a list from the VA Medical Center homeless veterans coordinator on. And so how it'll work is, let's say I go on there as Shane and I'm like, oh, hey, look, they need these thermal underwears. I'll buy a pack. There's 5 that may be listed. I buy one and it says 1 bought, 4 still available. So that when GA logs in, they'll be, oh, there's still 4 available. GA buys one, there's only 3 left. So that's how it'll work. Plus, it's already set up for all of everything you purchased to be sent directly to Commander Wendell. So you don't have to do anything except purchase the item. It'll be shipped to Tom. And once all of the items are received, Commander Wendell and any members of Chapter 10 that are available will take up all of those donations and donate them to the DC VA Medical Center. So once all of those are collected as a group, we will go over there. So this is nothing that will cost Chapter 10 money. This is us asking our members and everybody out there to help out and to make a donation of that specific item that will then be sent to the commander, and we will deliver it to the VA Medical Center in DC. Even if they don't have a stand down, these are items they need all year long for homeless veterans. So we will be releasing that tomorrow. On Sunday, keep an eye out for it. I'll have the links and everything in it. All you have to do is click the link, take you to the page, and you'll be able to purchase any of those items. They'll automatically be sent to Commander Wendell for delivery to the medical center. And we are closing that on November 1st because the stand down is looking like it's going to happen probably the first or second week in November. We're getting mixed signals on dates, but we just want to have as much as we can available to them. So we will close that out on November 1st. More new business. DAV has a supervisory NSO at Walter Reed who provides assistance to transitioning service members and those who are at Walter Reed either as an active duty service member or as a veteran going through some of the rehabilitative programs. They have what's called a lending closet there at Walter Reed, and it's for the ill and injured that are actually residing there. So those that are going through some of the programs, there's a lending tree, And it's also for the non-medical attendants with those that are living there. Now, they are providing cooking classes for those veterans with mobility and TBI issues. And what they're looking for is insta-pots. They are teaching veterans with mobility and TBI issues how to cook full meals with a smaller version of the Instapot or a crock pot or a pressure cooker, whatever we want to call it. Mm-hmm. And they're giving them classes. Now, they don't have enough of their own for the cooking classes or to give out to loaners for the patients that are there. So they're looking for a donation of 20 Instapots. They requested up to 20. But they're also seeking additional items such as hygiene items. They're looking for body wash, men and women. They're also looking for hygienic hand soaps, dish soaps, cookware, coffee. Dear God, they need coffee, right? I would give them all that myself because I know that's a real struggle, GA. No coffee's a real struggle. And they're also looking for salty snacks. So, Commander Wendell is proposing that we not buy all 20 Instapots, but instead we purchase 10 Instapots. That's roughly going to be, it's not the full size, it's a smaller version. Jeremy Yost has priced those, they're right around $89. So if we purchase 10 of those, we're looking at right around $900. And then they were also asking for gift cards and some of the other items we talked about. So I would like to make a motion that Chapter 10 purchase 10 Instapots and those other items that they listed they needed, not to exceed $1,500. And again, these are disabled, ill, and injured veterans at Walter Reed, and it also will include some active duty service members. But again, this will help them with, one, learning how to cook on their own, and two, providing the Instapots for those people there to use and for their cooking classes. So this is really a big way to help them. So I make the motion, we purchase 10 and the other items not to exceed $1,500.
Immediate pass seconds.
We have a second.
First and a second, certainly discussion.
We have a first and a second. Do you have any discussion? Okay, no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
That was Bernie the Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, good of the order. Do we have any good of the order? Any news?
Does anybody online have anything for the good of the order? We will take that as enough.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Does not require a second.
Okay. All right. So, Comrade Chaplain, will you read us in prayer, please?
Make it straight again.
Yeah.
May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep our hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God, now and then, to the eternal and all-wise creator of the universe and preserver of our nation, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. All right. Comrades, the purpose of our gathering here has been accomplished. And now before we close, let us always be mindful of the principles which this organization stands: camaraderie, friendship, loyalty to principle and to our comrades, and devotion to our cause. Before I declare you adjourned, it is fitting and proper that we again render honor to our flag.
And salute.
And salute. Comrades, before us is a flag Let always be true to its ideals and worthy of its traditions. Comrades, attention by the number, hand salute. All members and guests who are veterans salute. Other place their right hand over. 2. All right. I now declare this meeting of DAV Arlington and Fairfax Chapter 10 adjourned. Our next one will be held on November 20th, and that will be our last meeting of 2021.
She did it. She got through.